Good morning. It is a Saturday morning, and we are going to do what everybody wants to do on a Saturday morning, which is skin a character. I'm even wearing my Jotaro hat. I even have my stand with me. We are going to begin by attaching our geometry to our joints via skin cluster. And the way we do that is we select the joints we want, in this case the mechanical arm and the backpack stuff. And this is where it comes in handy that we combined our meshes previously with this in mind. We can just select these joints in this mesh, go to skin, bind skin. I'm going to do selected joints, closest distance is fine. Classic linear is okay. Weight distribution distance. Max influence. Tree is good. Apply. Let's see. Good enough for a start. For the rest of the body, we're gonna do something slightly different. Let's select everything from the pelvis to the head. Actually, is the head separate? Let's do all of it. Pelvis to helmet, everything except the backpack. Can't forget the legs and the bag. Looks good. Select the mesh. Go to skin, bind skin. And bind method, we're gonna do geodesic voxel, whatever you call it. Max influences, let's say to 4. And resolution, this might take a little while. Let's do 520, see how it looks. Whoa. It's not gonna be great, but good enough for us to start skinning. I'm going to select this guy. This is probably going to use these guys, the knee, the leg, knee and leg. This one we use the shoulder pad joint, this armor piece joint, and that should be good. Let's see. Okay. Now let's skin the helmet joint to the helmet. Perfect. The hair and the face to the head joint. And probably the neck too. Just a few of the neck joints. Alright. Most of this video will probably be sped up because it's just grunt work, honestly. I'm only going to show you real time if I'm talking about a skinning trick or something important that I want to convey. The first skinning trick I want to show you is how to easily flood weights on an object. So we're gonna go into vertex mode, and I'm gonna use this knee pad as an example. We're going to select one vertex, and then on your keyboard you're going to hold down shift, and you know, like those bigger and less, the ones that look like little snake mouths, you can grow or shrink your selection using those. So in this case, select one vertex and then hold down shift. We're gonna grow our selection until all of them are selected, and in our paint skin weights tool we're going to flood all of that to that knee pad joint. Also, I realized I forgot to rename these. You can tell an object in Maya is having trouble with the naming when it shows the entire hierarchy under a name in order to distinguish them. So always make sure you're renaming your stuff. The next trick I want to show you is how to skin a torso using only a cylinder that is very low poly. The skinning that we did on this character did a pretty good job automatically, but I'm gonna show you anyway because it's a very useful trick. So the first thing you want to do is create a cylinder. Bring it up. Scale it a little bit. We're gonna try to match the height of those joints in the spine. We don't have to make it super high poly, so we can do something roughly like this. We can also delete the top cap and the bottom cap. But first, I am going to go to my front view, X-ray, and I'm gonna try to match the height subdivisions to the number of joints I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now I can delete the caps. This, like this. Let me match it a little bit more. I'm actually gonna shrink it. Delete by type history. Be very careful not to do delete all by type because that's going to delete your skinning. So make sure you have your object selected, delete by type, history. We're also going to freeze transformations on translate, rotate, and scale just for good measure. I'm paranoid, so I'm gonna check my skinning still there. Nice. Now I'm going to skin those joints in the spine to the cylinder. So the pelvis, spine 1, spine 2, and spine 3. Skin, bind skin, selected joints, max influence, let's do 3. Apply. Now we're gonna go to our paint skinning tool, go to vertex mode, front view. We're going to select only the top vertex, and we're going to weight all of those to the last spine joint. Select the next row. You can also press up and down in your keyboard to alternate between the vertice rows. Paint this guy. Next one. Spine 1. Last one. Pelvis. Okay. Now we're gonna go into vertex mode of our body. Select the area that we want the skinning to transpose to. So I think, don't want the arms. I think a little bit more will be good. Okay. Now make sure you have that selected. Go to object mode. You're going to select your cylinder and then right click on your body mesh, go to vertex mode. So now you have the cylinder and those vertex selected. You're gonna go to skin, copy skin weights. Now that should have transposed the skinning information of the lower poly cylinder to our torso. It didn't make much of a difference on our case because the automatic skinning did a pretty good job already. But if you ever have a situation where you have a very complicated torso to skin, this trick is very useful. One more trick I want to show you is the hammer skin weights tool. It's a tool that we use a lot for situations such as this one, where you have a rope vertex in your skinning. I mean, sure, you could just use the paint skin weights tool to fix this, but you could also just go to vertex mode real quick, select the vertex, go to skin, hammer skin weights. And what it does is it reassigns the skinning value of that vertex based on the vertex surrounding it. You can also use this tool to smooth out transitions in your skinning, But in that case, you have to be very careful because sometimes the tool will randomly assign weight from a very random joint in the skeleton that you don't want. So if you're using the tool to smooth out your weighting, I recommend locking weights that you're not using, like this. And that should keep that skinning information on those locked weights intact. Those are all the tricks I can remember from the top of my head. Right now, I'm just gonna shift into skinning mode and get this done.